you guys have ever seen a Bluetooth frame, this is what it looks like. Good times. Guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be going under the frame, seeing exactly what we're dealing with. Now basically I have this plate here that's holding the top of the frame to the cross mount, or the bottom of the frame I should say, to the cross mount. So today's first day we're going under here to see what we got going on, and we got a lot of rust. So we know this has got to come off, this has got to come off, the exhaust hanger's got to come off, this has got to come off. So you can see with this plate here, I'm not sure how well you can see, it's mounted through this lower trailing arm, and then just a nut and bolt up there. So I think we're going to lube all this up. We're going to go through, oh, this is good times. We're going to scrape all this down, and then we're going to start sanding, and then we're going to start cutting after we pull the tire and support it all. So let's get started with the fun stuff. A little looby-dooby. So step one for me, I'm going to get rid of the exhaust here because it's only 3 inches from the frame. So I disconnected the clamps here. I doubt that's going to pull out. And muffler's a good 6 inches off. I'm not too worried about that. So I'm just going to chop it like right here where it's been all scabbed in at some point. And who knows, maybe we'll be able to slide it out. I know car thieves get these fuckers off in like 30 seconds, but I have a feeling it's going to take me a little longer. Let's find out. Well, she's out. These clamps didn't want to play nice, so we just cut her. So with that out of the way, I'm going to go through and clean this up and see exactly where the rust stops, and then decide where I'm going to cut it. Alright, so after we get the exhaust out of the way, you can see I started cleaning up the frame, figuring out where the good metal ends and the bad metal begins, and I'm going to be cutting this about halfway up. But you got to remove this heat shield here that goes over the exhaust. So to do that, there's a strap with two 10mm on it, and then up inside here, passenger floor, you're going to have a 7/16 there, and you're going to have a 7/16 back there that you got to take out, and then that heat shield will come out. Then you can clean the inside of the frame and get ready to cut. Nothing really wakes you up much faster than a spark in your ear. Got that covered. Back under. Alright, so I cut off about 1.5 inches of the frame. I found it was much easier just cut this outside and then cut through with a, I used a Sawzall. And of course I bent every blade that I owned. And now I'm out of blades. Otherwise I would have went back. There's still a little bit of rot in there, but I'm not worried about it. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to pour 15 the inside of this frame after I wire brush it, and I blew air up the frame here. There's a little hole up here that you can blow air down. So that's all pretty good. So I'm gonna get this pour 15, and then we're gonna get the plate after we clean it a little bit and line it up, see how it looks. So besides the big chunks that I cut off, there's how much rust was inside the frame. So there's your regular like 18-inch Sawzall. We got about 3 feet, about 2 inches high. But on a brighter note, the plate's up in place. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna throw a piece of tape down right where I'm gonna be welding, and then I'm gonna paint everything. Well, you know what? Actually, I should probably clean all the metal, then put the tape down, then paint everything. Before I weld this, what I'm doing is I'm gonna be plug welding the backside, because I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to get a bead up here. So at least if I put like 10 holes in, I'll know I'm going to penetrate into the good steel. The front side here, I'm not too worried about. I know I'll be able to get that. But the back side, just throw some plug welds in. And also, I threw a drain hole here and here, because we all know that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because of no drain holes. So fire up the welder and get going. Next up, we're going to be working on the back and getting this all disconnected, all this crap back here, this whole ghetto brace that was thrown in here to keep it together. So what I did is I ratchet strapped from the frame. I put 2 ratchet straps going down holding the transmission in place, because when I jack it up, obviously it's going to come off of that. So before I jack it up, I'm going to try to break everything free. I have been soaking it for like 2 days. Hopefully it comes free, and then we'll jack it up, take the tire off, take this plate off, and see what we're dealing with. I guess you can kind of tell where I blew the frame out, because it came flying out of there and all over that. Moving on. All right, so unfortunately I don't have a lift, so this is what I did just to support it as well as possible, since my ass is going to be underneath of it and I don't want it to fall on me. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing this back corner first. So I just threw this piece up in place. I have a jack stand right here. This is where most of my weight is. I do have another one over there. I put a ratchet strap from the front to the back axle, just so this axle can't kick out on me. Now I have the jack underneath there. I have a jack stand right here. And I have a jack stand back here. I was just afraid with all the weight, I didn't want this to fall down and kind of waffle on me. So you can see it's bad. I mean, I can stick my finger in there. Probably not the smartest thing to do. So now we're going to go through. From what I saw, we're going to take off the upper control arm, then the lower control arm, then the sway bar mount up top. So this is going to suck. It's probably going to take me a while. Oh, and besides the upper sway bar, which is up here, I have this bolt from this ghetto plate. So I got 4 shitty bolts to take off instead of just 3. You guys will probably only have 3 unless you had the same engineer that I had. So I'm going to get on that. No need to watch that, just me cursing a lot. Alright, so I got the upper control arm off. I got the sway bar off. I got this top bolt off here that's not stock. And this lower one does not want to play nice. So I got 12 ounces in one hand, and I got a death wheel in the other that says she's coming off. I believe the camera died, but as you can see, she played nice. Piece of junk. So, yeah, I wouldn't call that safe. I don't know how long they were cruising with this, but time to cut some shit out and fix it. Now we get a better look at the frame. You can see she was not connected up in the front at all. So, really, all I do is cut here and here. I'll get rid of that chunk. This is all good. I can see this is completely thick, nothing wrong. So I'm probably going to cut here and straight across there on both sides. Backside might be a little worse. We'll see when I get over there. So let's see how long it takes to get this bottom off. Not long. Next day, and it's a little late in the day, but as you can see, first thing I did is I went through and cleaned up. Because, I swear, Forrest Gump had a better chance of finding a G-spot than I did of finding a hammer by the end of last night. So, we are working on this rear bracket here. Now, we're going to get this thing all painted first before we throw it up underneath there. You can see I went through, I just taped up the edges where I'm going to be welding. And if you guys are like me, you probably broke the exhaust clamp, so I think it's easier just to weld nuts on here and then pop the thing on under there anyway, rather than trying to deal with the putting the bolts in. And pretty common. I'm going to have to do the same thing here because there's the other clamp. These just broke. So I'll grind those down and just weld 2/4 inch studs on there. So for the next hour or so, I'm going to go through. You can see I pretty much cleaned this side. I'm going to go through, sand all that down, paint everything, leave myself a nice edge to weld onto, and then do the back side. Unfortunately, I'm kind of afraid to take this gas tank down. So I hate working around gas tanks. I tried draining it. I think there's some sort of screen or something in there. I could not get a hose down it. So I'm basically going to get like a wet rag and a bunch of other things, and I'm going to tape that up, make it safe to work around. So, see you in an hour. Alright, so I just mocked this up in there, and I don't think I'm going to get a very good bead up here. Now, I'm sure if I took the tub off, that'd be a different story, but we're not going that route. So what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to cut like a 1/4 inch off from here to here. For the most part, there's not going to be any way for me to get up, you know, this 6 inches here. And then I'm going to cut this also, and maybe throw a couple extra plug welds in here and there where I can. So that's going to take me a little while. I'm not sure how I want to cut this. Let me figure it out. So as I walk in to grab a 12-ounce Fren, I walked right past the plasma cutter that my wife bought me for Christmas. So we're going to unbox this and try this little bitch out. I've never used a plasma cutter before, but it went together really, really simple. It's pretty much just plug and play. You can't put anything in the wrong spot. So I open up the directions, and first thing it says, it may be fetal. So hopefully I don't fuck something up and turn into a baby. Alright, this is my first time ever using this. See what it does. Move on close. Okay. Whoa! Some shit caught on fire. I gotta be careful. Alright, well, it cut through it. I'm not gonna complain other than the fact that I almost lit the garage on fire. I guess this rag had some chemicals on it. This caught up, melted this hose, which I have no idea what that's for. This box caught on fire. I wish I had the camera set up because that was a total cluster. So I think I like it. I'm not going back to a cutting wheel, but I think I'm going to be doing most of my cutting outside going forward. Yeah, good times. Next day out here, and I am finally ready to weld. Now, for me, what made the most sense, because I really don't have a lot of clamps or vice grips, I used a jack. I pushed it all the way forward. I used a jack here. I pushed it up to where I needed it. I got her clamped because I'm going to be starting right here. I have everything all taped up, so sparks should not go anywhere. I even went through and put some gasketing material through the little gap there. I got me a bucket of water with a pump right here. I got me a fire extinguisher right there. And I'm going to be doing this very slowly. Just, you know, I'm afraid of sparks in your gas tanks. Call me silly, but better safe than crispy. So I'm not going to record this. I'll just give you updates as I go. All right, for two things. One, me not being a welder, and two, not grinding it or anything. I'm quite happy with that. Now I do have to build a little plate right there, but that's no big deal. I got up all inside there except for a little tiny bit right there. I got to build a plate for and a plate right there. But other than that, so give me a break from welding, do a little bit of cutting, get this going. All right, so here's a little trick that I've never tried. If you look up in here, I have two plug welds where it's all rusty underneath. So I got to clean those out. So what I did Got myself a little 7/16 drill bit. Cut the tip off, and I'm just going to jam her up in there and send her home. Hopefully it works. I cannot begin to tell you how happy I am to be done with this back end back here. No more welding near the gas tank. So yeah, came out really good. It's all self-supporting right now on its own with just this piece in, because this was my weak point right around here. So very happy with that. Next up, we're doing this long piece, which we're just slamming slag at this point. I'm gonna do the back and the front so I can get these jacks out of here. You can see I'm already set up to do the front. I did measure these nuts. I look straight across, they look even. But no, seriously, I measured from center to center up there on both sides, and I just want to make sure I don't have any problems when I go to put that plate on. And if I do, then I'll just warble it out. So nothing really to see here. I'm gonna ride the Lightning. See you guys in a little bit. All right, guys. So as you can see, she is all done. She's all stitched together. I threw some rust reformer on it, just more or less as a primer. I do have one little spot up here. I'm just gonna cut a plate out of some scrap metal, fix that up. But in the meantime, gotta hang the exhaust, put the transmission plate back on, get rid of that jack, and we'll be good to go. I would put the exhaust on and do all that, but nothing really special. I'm just gonna throw some dimes, or in my case, nickels down on this and get a clamp. So, with that being said, that's gonna do it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, especially if you like working on Jeeps, because I don't know what we're doing next. So, get off the couch and get in the garage. In case you've never seen what weld burn looks like, yeah, way worse than sunburn.